the Hurricanes. So yeah, and again, similar theme. A lot of departures. So Owen Franks is gone. Dane Coles, Adi Savia gone. Some of their more experienced players, some of their leaders. On the positive side, Brad Shields. He's a former Kane's favourite son. He's back from where was he playing in Europe? I think. Yeah, he was at England International, wasn't he? Back to his hometown there. So fifth last year for the Canes. So that's actually pretty decent. I think I know I had them quite low when we did our preview for 2023. So fifth isn't too bad. Yeah, mate. The Canes. What do you make of the Canes?
It's different to the other teams, mainly because up front I feel like they're weakened, especially in the propping department. They haven't got anyone there in the propping department that really stands out for me as someone who, other than maybe Tyrell Lomax, who really stands out as someone who can be the enforcer or, lead by example. If Tyrell Lomax gets injured, for instance, like who's going to step up? No one knows any of the other players. Then you've got obviously Colsey's gone. Asafo Moore really needs to step up now and really own that number 2 jersey. He's spent far too long in the shadows of Colsey and New Zealand rugby as well. It's Canes rugby and possibly the Lions held on to Colsey for too long. I mean, was Colsey of the Lions? Is that his team? Yeah. So
yes,
he is a player who is world class, but at the same time, I think even world class players have an expiry date, and unfortunately, for Colsey, he probably expired well before he actually stopped or moved on. Then you've got the backs, or you've got the locks and the loosies. The locks have players like James Tucker, Isaiah Walker-Leawere, who are probably the most, and Justin Sangster possibly, who are the most well-known of all those locks. Then you've got loose forwards like Duplessis Karifi, who I'd like to see more of as a leader. Brad Shields is back. That'll be interesting to see, the England defect. Then you've got 2 really good prospects in the old head of TJ Perenara and the young buck who seems to be making a real big name for himself in his career, Cam Roigard. Unfortunately for the third guy, Richard Judd, I'm not sure he will see any game time this season because of those other 2. So yeah, it's going to be a struggle for Richard Judd, but I'm really excited when I see Cam Roigard named in any team. That guy he's got bits of the good parts of every good halfback that we know in New Zealand. He's got Brad Weber's speed. He's got a bit of Aaron Smith's nous. He's got TJ Perenara's wily ability. And Cam Roigard really has a go. That's what you want to see out of your halfback. A halfback who's fearless and just has a go. In any crunch time, any rush hour moment. And then you've got the midfielders and first fives. First fives are largely unknown to me. Aidan Morgan and Brett Cameron. Not sure how they'll go this season, but I guess they'll go all right. They're the ones who have been picked. The midfielders, Balin Sullivan, I want him to do well. Peter Maya Jensen, he's a favourite of mine. I want him to do well. Geordie Barrett, he's someone who needs to step up and lead, as he always does. And then you have the outside backs, and Kini Naholo. I want to see him with more ball in hand. He's exciting to see. Salesi Rayasi. I don't know too much about the other players though. Harry Godfrey, Ruben Love, Josh Morby, Ngatungane Bunivai. Don't know too much about those players, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see who steps up into those outside back positions for the season, whether they mix them up and give them, a chance to, rotate, if you like. So yeah, it's good to see Brad Shields back, the former England international. See how long he actually takes to adapt back into the New Zealand game. The key losses are obviously Artie, Colsey, and those two in itself are huge losses to that franchise. So we'll see how the Canes actually go. I'm not betting on them to do too well this season, but we'll see. With Clark Laidlaw as their coach, we'll see if they actually react to him well and get the job done. But I'm not betting on them to be in top 4.
Nice in-depth look there. Sounds like we might be on the same page. So the thing that I was really looking forward to was really the 2 9s that they got there. So Roy Gard, like you mentioned, his stints in the All Blacks, he only got a brief look, but he looked good during the brief look that we saw of him. And you're right, he's got a little bit of everything. He's quite a bigger guy, quite strong, doesn't mind having a run down the blind side and stuff. Still got a good pass. Takes a couple of steps and gets going. So, that could potentially be a peek into, life after Aaron Smith. But TJ, at Super Rugby level at least, he has been an absolute beast. So, probably one of the best, one of the all-time great halves at Super Rugby. So, don't count him out. You talk about Julian Savia, how I think he's 1 or 2 tries away from being the all-time try scorer. But I know Perinara, I think he's in the top 5, which is weird for a halfback. But he's just that, like you say, he's been that nuggety guy for a long time. And he's been essentially the starting halfback there for a decade. And he's not just going to say, yeah, Roy Gard, it's all yours now. He's coming back from a long-term injury, but, there's that iron sharpens iron sort of mentality there. And they can make each other play even better, just trying to compete for that same jersey. So that's a real strength of there. A couple of guys that you mentioned, and they've sort of been mentioned as potential All Black guys in the future. So like Ruben Love, Josh Morby, Waylon Sullivan, all those young guys, they really have to step up. They've lost a lot of leaders. That's one thing I noticed with the departures that we mentioned, like Colsey and Artie Savia, Owen Franks, Reed Prinsep, these types of guys. So it's really up to Generation Next now to come in and take over. And some of these guys, if they grab the bull by the horns, there's some All Black jerseys available if they're good enough. So I thought 5th, that was pretty decent for them. I think they might probably finish similar, just outside the top 4, I think, too. Similar to you, mate.